All right, all right. Cool. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another live stream Rethink Sales. I'm super excited today because we're going to have Brian Roes come up and talk to us about enhancing your customer engagement and how do we do that. And so I've got a few questions for him to answer, and we're going to dive into it right away as soon as I bring him back in. But first, again, just want to welcome you to this live stream. If you're watching live, let us know by hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, just hashtag replay. And if you have questions, we will do our best to answer them. As you know, that live stream, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to get those live questions right away, especially when I'm using a third-party software. But make sure you add them in the comment below and we will answer them as we go. All right. So, what is all this Rethink Sales live stream all about? Well, this is not just about selling. This is all about discovering your inner drive and to also understand the hidden desires of your clients, of your customers. And that's why I'm calling this a Rethink Sales approach because we've got to kind of get away from the always pitching, always closing, and marketing hype. We need to come down to the reality where people need people. And so today, Brian is going to help us with that. So let me bring him in. He's right now in the back room, and where do I go? Hold on. Oh, here we go. All right, there's Brian. What's going on, Brian?
Hey Eddie, how are you?
I am so psyched up about today, man. I've been waiting for this. What is this, man? A couple of weeks since we're like, let's do it.
Yeah, we've been working on it.
So definitely, I'm really excited because I have a few questions for you, right? So hopefully you're
Yeah.
prepared for that because what you have, as you know, has changed my brand, has changed the way I speak, the way I see things and approach things is amazing.
Mm.
So in a moment, we're going to talk deeper into that. But first, just go ahead and let us know what you're doing, what you're up to right now, and
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your company, Master Brand Studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to come on and share and speak with you about this. It's something I not only am I passionate about it, it's just so fun, like when you
Yeah.
find something that you can do that helps people and you can make a good living doing it and it's fun, it's like you've hit the jackpot. So I love sharing stuff like this. Yeah, so as you said earlier, my company is Master Brand Studio, and Master Brand Studio is committed to partnering with small business owners, whether it's an online business or a brick and mortar business, to help them get more customers by improving their digital presence, their digital online presence. And what that looks like is really three components. There's helping them identify what their identity is, really getting to the core of who they are and what they value and what that looks like for them in particular. And then there's the branding, which is the visual representation to the world about that and how you represent that personality. And then there's all of the assets that you actually build and see and produce. And that's things like websites, social media presence, lead magnets, email series, all of that stuff. So we help small businesses with their identity, their branding, and their assets as well.
Yeah.
This came from my own experience as a small business owner. I own a brick and mortar business. I own other online businesses as well. And when I sort of stepped into that arena of a small business owner, I realized not only how important it is, but how challenging it could be for someone if they didn't go into small business ownership with some degree of marketing and techie skills, to undergird them. So
Yeah.
that's why we created this, was to help those business owners.
That's so awesome. You hit on so many points, and I've got to take you back to the beginning, the fundamental. I'm very curious because most businesses, you're right, they don't just think, oh, I'm gonna brand my business. What's my brand identity? You know, they're just basically let's open up and let's start selling.
Right. And we hope people buy from us.
And we hope. So which this actually I'm gonna go ahead and post it because this is gonna lead us into the next question that we're gonna get. But basically, what's happening is that it's it's intriguing to me that they want customers, but they
Mhm.
don't take a step back to kind of make sure that their business is attracting those customers. So, since we're talking about this customer engagement, just give us an idea about how we can enhance customer engagement for a small business owner. How can they do that?
Yeah. That's the most important question to ask. So it's great that it's the first one. I think that the foundation of that, Eddie, is understanding. I'm going to say something. Can I shock you a little bit?
Ooh, please do.
All right.
Please.
Here's a shocker. The customers don't care about your business.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Someone needs to hear that again. I have a feeling. Could you please say that again?
Yeah. Let this sink in. The customers don't care about your business. The customers care about themselves and solving their problem in the best possible way that they can find. That's it. And
Wow.
so if you want to talk about customer engagement, we first need to understand the customers live in their own little world where they're thinking about their own problems, their own needs, their own desires, what they need, and you're just one of many options out there that kind of like bounce in and out of their life.
Yeah.
And so, in order to have customer engagement, you need to first understand that when you speak to the customer, or you put up an ad, or you put up a post, or whatever it is, that you need to do it in a way that communicates to them that you understand that they are the most important person in this
Mm,
relationship, and that
wow.
you, as the business owner, are there to help them accomplish whatever their next little goal is that they're working on.
Oh my
That's the
goodness.
key to customer engagement.
Brian, so you have just practically revealed the secret to any business success. And I think obviously I'm exaggerating because it's no secret, but why is it that you've seen this in your experience, you've seen this, right? Why is it that businesses don't take the time to actually understand their customers? Like what's going on with that? Like what's the obstacle that stops them from doing that?
Yeah. I honestly, I think that it's that business owners are just really wrapped up in the operations of the business. I mean, I one of my businesses is an ice cream shop. Your family's been there
Yes,
before.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. So that's one of my businesses, my brick and mortar. I have 20 employees or more. I have rent to pay. I have suppliers to think about. I have promotions, and I have so much that's on my mind. And I can see how it would be really easy for a small business owner in my scenario to just really just sort of hope that you have the best product and that the right people driving by or who find you or whatever decide to stop into your business.
Hmm.
So I get that. But there's so much power when you can communicate with the customer in a way that says, "Hey, we're not just a XYZ business, whatever it is. We're a business that can help you solve this problem that you're thinking about." Last
Wow.
week, we had a couple come to our ice cream shop, um, super busy Saturday night, and they're standing in line, and they get their ice cream, and they walk up to the front, and he kneels down, and he pulls out an engagement ring, and he proposes to her in our ice cream shop, like,
Oh
right there,
my
and there's people around.
goodness. That
Yeah,
is awesome.
and I'm like, this is so fascinating because when I created this business, I was thinking, how do we sell ice cream to people? Not how do we
Mm,
make an environment that would be so loving, so warm, so romantic that this would be the place where that couple chooses to have their monumental
wow.
event. And you're not the first ones. Actually, a lot of people get engaged there because it's a really special place. But
Yes.
it's because we've been very deliberate with the way that we brand and we talk about our business, and it's become a destination for people who want to connect in a special way with their loved ones. So
Wow.
we've sort of unraveled what that looks like, and there's a strategy to it, and
Yes.
that's what we've been able to implement.
Oh my goodness. I mean, your story is like it gives me goosebumps because I want to. There is so much to learn from what you just said. So by the way, if you guys are watching this live, then let us know if you have questions for Brian. But if you're
Yeah,
watching the replay, I need you to go back and take notes because your story it works exactly the same way whether it's an online business or a brick and mortar business.
yeah,
I have seen in my industry how many small businesses online they just go and start dumping information, pitching every time, do this and do that, come to my thing, I have what it did, all of this out there, and then they wonder why is it not working, or worse, they go from one program to the next, from another program to the next program,
yeah,
and all it takes is what you said, being there for the customer. How can you solve that customer's challenges or obstacles, or maybe how can you wow the customer? But
yeah.
it takes understanding your brand, right? So we got to dive into that because it's amazing how you're attracting the right people and how you're building this atmosphere of love and compassion, and you sell ice cream. Like, that's crazy cool.
Yeah.
So we need to understand what does it take. So that's my question. That's my next question. Okay, tell us exactly what's going on. Like, what does it take to basically have a brand identity? What does it mean, and what does it take to do that?
Yes. Okay. So, is it okay if I get a little technical here?
Please,
We
please.
have we have we have a sophisticated audience, right? They can handle it.
they if they were able to watch this replay or show up live, I think they can handle it.
I think they can do this. So, I love psychology.
Mhm.
I think it's just fascinating. And Carl Jung, Swiss psychiatrist, kind of one of my heroes. He's so brilliant. Carl Jung years ago uncovered sort of he kind of like explained and brought to light something called the collective subconscious mind of humanity.
Mm.
The collective subconscious mind. And so this is basically, there's the conscious mind, which is what we see and think and what we, sort of perceive individually. Then there's the personal subconscious mind, which is the deep stuff that sort of is like in our mind, but it's not conscious yet, but it's based on our own experiences, our own personal experiences. What happened when we were a kid, when we grew up, all that stuff. But then the majority of our subconscious mind is actually pre-programmed into us, and it's called the collective subconscious mind. And so what that means is that all humans in the world have something in common with each other at a very deep subconscious level. Just like all humans in the world are, designed to have two eyes and two lungs and a heart, like our physical bodies are all pretty much the same for the most part. The subconscious mind that's collective, it has that same resonance. There's that same connection.
That is
And
cool.
so here's what Carl Jung discovered, right?
Mhm.
At the very deep subconscious level, all humans are sort of hardwired to respond to different types of personalities, to different types of people, of characteristic traits. And he
Mm.
calls those archetypes.
Oh,
And
wow.
there are 12 archetypes that Carl Jung identified. Now, sometimes they expand them, they get more specific or more general, but we're going to settle on 12 for this. And these 12 archetypes are different types of personalities that when people see them and it's like clear, it's not ambiguous,
Mhm.
they go, "Oh, I know what this is. Oh, I get this. Oh, yeah, I know, I can understand this." And it's almost like effortless to them because they connect in a way that's just like, "Oh, yeah, I know what this is. I recognize this." Okay? So,
Yeah.
I don't know, Eddie, maybe this might be a cool time to show that picture if you'd
I
like,
I
the
have it
archetypes, and I could
ready. I have it
explain, in
ready.
particular, maybe zero in on our business.
let me
Yeah.
do that right now.
So there are,
So let me get to it
yeah.
because it's not the right one. So here we go.
Okay.
There we go. Right?
Yeah, no problem. There it is. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So this is an image that shows these 12 archetypes, these 12 personalities that your business can actually deliberately embrace. And you can make your entire business really like embody one of these archetypes. You can combine them, you can do combinations if you'd like. But I want you to look down at the bottom, sort of the like 6 o'clock there, 7 o'clock. Lover.
Hmm.
You see Marilyn Monroe's face.
Marilyn Monroe. Yes.
Lover is right down there, right? So lover is the type of archetype. It's the personality of person or of a business that basically wants people to be drawn in with warm, intimate connections. It's not necessarily sensual. You know, we think of Marilyn Monroe and we think of like sensuality, but it's also familial connections. It's love, it's families, it's lovers, it's people that you want to be close to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some examples of companies that are like Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Chanel or Victoria's Secret. Those are companies
Oh,
that have said, "Hey, this is how we want to connect with our audience." And everything that those companies do and everything that they put out in terms of their marketing, the way their store looks and feels and smells, it's all focused on that intimacy that they're inviting their customers to come into. And so
wow.
at our ice cream shop, as an example, we decided, hey, this is how we're going to run our business. This is our identity. Everything about our storefront, the music that we play outside,
Wow.
which is like love songs from the 50s,
Yeah.
everything about
Yeah.
the social media presence, it's hearts, it's love, it's little pictures of ice cream cones. Because when people see that business,
Hmm.
they go, ah, this is a place where I can go with my family and my loved ones, and we're going to have a great time connecting with each other.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
that,
That's
that was
awesome.
like this deliberate choice that we made when we made those marketing and branding decisions.
I gotta ask you this then, because in my head I have this question. So what you're saying is, um, you took this archetype and
Mhm.
created your business based on this archetype. Now,
Yes.
does that mean that, let's say, because I took your test, I took your quiz. By the way, there's a quiz. Oops, I said
Yeah.
it, but there is a quiz. It's so cool. When I took your quiz, does that mean, like, let's say if I was to, in my business, right?
Mhm.
When I have a business and I have my quiz and it tells me my archetype,
Yeah.
do then I say to myself here, okay, I want my business like me, or like
Mhm.
what you just did, do you
Right.
choose the archetype for your business and then you could be a different archetype yourself?
Right. Great question. The personal identity versus the business identity. So here's my answer to that. I personally am not lover archetype. That's not me. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty low on my scale. When I take the quiz, it's pretty low on my scale.
Yeah.
However, when I took that quiz, I was sort of at the beginning of the quiz, which everybody will learn about in a minute. But there's the very first screen. It says, if you're taking this on behalf of a company, pretend that your company is a person with their own personality and answer the questions like you think the company would answer the questions. So
Oh.
that's for an organization. For an individual or for like a solopreneur where it's
Hmm.
just one person and they've got their thing going on, I think that generally they're the same. All right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so there's that. But like you think about the owner of, let's say Harley Davidson.
Hmm.
Harley Davidson is a total rebel archetype,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. The CEO of Harley Davidson or the founder or whatever, maybe they had a little bit of that in them, but chances are they're probably something else. But their
Mm.
marketing department said, who's our customer? What's the problem that they want to solve? What's the type of business personality that we could have that could solve that problem? And then what's the archetype that fits best with that? So I don't
Okay.
think it has to be the same. But if you're a very small, like a solopreneur, like I said, chances are
Yeah.
probably the
I
same.
like that. That's
If you
well,
did it
that's
other,
yeah, that's fantastic. This is totally brand new, Brian, because this is a great idea that you now just given me. And again, hopefully the audience is watching this. This is amazing to understand your company's audience. It comes back down to taking the time to market research, right? To figure out what's your audience, the persona out there, right?
Yeah.
And to figure that out so that you can actually create the archetype for that, for your business, for your company.
Mhm.
So for you, for example, obviously you said at the beginning, I have a ice cream shop, and I just don't want to sell ice cream. Yeah, you're right, because I can go anywhere and get ice cream, right?
Yeah.
So when did you figure out, that that's what you wanted to have, the lover archetype in your business?
For me, it was really a foundational step even before we opened, the
Mm,
store. We were very deliberate about what our, because I know how important it is. I think
mm,
a lot of business owners, they get their business going, and then they're like, "Why aren't I getting more customers?" Well, it's because you haven't given them something that they a business that they can look at and quickly, like, at a gut level, understand and say, "Oh, yeah, that's what I want." And so a lot of small business owners have to sort of backtrack, which is fine. You can make up for lost time, definitely. But I
okay.
did it really early on. With
Wow.
Let me just shift here because we've been talking about brick and mortar. Maybe some of the people watching this would have an online business,
Hmm.
virtual business. So Master Brand Studio, which is my branding, marketing, website design business, not my brick and mortar, my online business. Master Brand Studio is the everyman archetype. Everyman. And you can see that's about 9 o'clock over here, the purple section.
Wow.
The everyman
Yeah.
archetype is all about belonging. It's all about being like, I fit in, you fit in, we're like the same. It's also some people call it guy next door. Excuse me, guy
Oh,
next door.
wow.
Like, oh, I'm just like him. We can totally talk because he gets me, and I feel like I belong in this conversation. And that was strategic because Master Brand Studio, first of all, that is really authentic to my own personality as
Oh,
well.
so are you everyday,
Every man, yeah.
every man? Oh,
Yep,
okay, cool, cool.
yep, every man. I'm sort of like close to every man and ruler for me personally. So those two.
Okay.
But every man, when we made the Master Brand Studio and decided how we would position ourselves there, I know that small business owners, and I know this from experience, I might not have known this before I got into small business quite as much. Small business owners, I understand them, and I actually do resonate.
Mm,
Like, I can talk to a small business owner, we speak the same language.
wow.
And so that's why I wanted that business plan, Master Brand Studio, to be like the guy next door. Like, he totally gets me. So everything, all the pictures we choose, the way we communicate, the way we structure the sentences, it makes the small business owner who's considering our products and services, considering hiring us, it makes them feel like we really understand them. And that's because we really do. It's very authentic, but they get that from the way that we have written and communicated visually
That
too.
is so awesome. So man, so Brian, I've got to ask you then. So because what you said is, let's say that you actually took the time, you were very intentional before opening your business. And
Mhm.
and again, this fits online business. It's the same thing, Brian. So it really hits
Yeah.
home with any sort of business owners out there. It hits home. Entrepreneur, it hits home. Um, so you say you intentionally prepare before opening the business, and you also mentioned that, okay, for you can make up for lost time if you are in your business. So what will be first? What do you think someone should do first? Should they find out who they are first and then do their company later, or should they just go right ahead and do their business first, their archetype for the business, and make that decision before? Who cares about themselves, right? Because the business makes money, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
The quiz takes 10 minutes, so you could probably pretty easily do it for yourself and then for the business, so you can kind of get a more holistic view. I think it would be awful if you personally were one thing and then your business was something completely different, because
Oh
then you're
yeah.
sort of having this like identity crisis, or it's miserable for you because you're trying to communicate with your customers in a way that's like a foreign language to you.
Hmm.
So I think they should probably be compatible when you take the assessment.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but
That's
they don't have to be the same.
okay. That's cool. That's cool. So watch out, y'all, because if you don't, if you're not aligned with what you're doing, oops, you might just find out after doing
It's
the
a long
quiz.
road.
Oh, that's interesting. So, man, this is so powerful, and I appreciate you sharing your story and the specific tips. You gave us so much already. Like literally, I'm gonna go back and start picking the things that you mentioned because it takes me down to the road of taking time to understand your audience, making sure you understand yourself, deciding what it is, how it is that you want to approach your community, and how do you want to serve. It's all the fundamentals of doing what you love, but more importantly, of marketing and sales. I mean, that's like the major thing, right? No matter what we do in this entrepreneurship business life, it is
Mhm.
required. You must always have a clear marketing message and have a clear action or objectives for sales to be able
Yeah.
to increase sales. That's it. There's nothing else. You can like you said, it can be ice cream. It could be a jar of spaghetti sauce, which by the way, I have seen that. It's on the internet. They sell amazing spaghetti sauce. Like I'm like, what? But it's all the brand, right? It's all the brand and it's all the identity based on the business and yourself. This is so cool. So all right, so I know you have that brand identity quiz, and I want to show people what it looks like. But so you gave us a little bit on it's 10 minutes. Just tell us a little bit about what they should expect, because they're gonna have to do it twice, right? If you have a business, y'all, go do the business and then do yourself or first and then go the business. Doesn't matter, but you have to take the time to do both, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what made you come up with this quiz and what they should expect to
For
go
sure.
through it.
Well, when I started this process and I learned about the brand archetypes, I was kind of guessing. I had to read about them and make a good prediction. And I thought, man, there's so many great pieces of technology out there. We can streamline this into a quiz. And so that's where this came from. I took what I knew about the brand archetypes and then boiled it down to some short questions that people can answer. Now, when you take the quiz, um, you need to go in it, since we're talking about the personal brand identity versus like the personal archetype assessment versus the business brand identity. You need to be really clear how you're answering the questions. So I would probably say first go into it and just say, hey, I'm just answering these for me. Me and my most authentic self. I'm going to find out what my identity is, my archetype, and so answer those questions. And it's some of them are rating questions. Some of them are visuals, like look at these pictures and pick the ones that resonate most with like your vibe. So there's some variety with the types of questions. After you get that, you're going to get the list of all 12 of the archetypes with your highest ranking one on the top and your lowest ranking one on the bottom. And you can actually learn probably just as much about yourself from seeing what your lowest one is as you can your highest. So pay attention to that too. Don't just look at the highest one, but look at what are the one that you are like absolutely like, no, this is not me.
Hey Brian, what was mine? I think it was a
Your lowest.
caregiver. Yeah.
I don't want to say it. Do you want to say it? Yours was caregiver. What was your
Caregiver.
lowest?
Yeah, it's a caregiver. So Brian is like, okay, everybody, don't expect any hugs or any woo woo dramatic. But that's the fact, I mean, that's how it usually work. I mean, but yeah,
Yeah.
go on, go on.
You're more like Tony Stark instead of Mother Teresa, I think,
Yeah,
right?
which everybody knows, right? There's my Tony Stark. There's Iron Man right there,
Yeah, right
and
there.
yeah, it's so funny. Go
Yep.
on.
So then when you get your personal, then you can go back to the beginning of it, and then you just think about your business and say, all right, if my business was a person taking this test,
Hmm.
how do I answer the questions? And it might be the same as you as an individual, but it might be very different. So then take it again, and then you'll see what your business archetype is. And you might be pretty close in a couple. So maybe at the end of it, you pick which one you want to go with. If you're like 2 points away, maybe you can lean more one way or the other, whatever seems to make sense. But it'll
Okay.
at least get you really close.
Okay. So now I have to ask you this because you're saying to think what would think of if you were your business.
Yeah.
So does that let's just say someone who doesn't have a clue what
Mm.
kind of business they want. They know they want something, they know they're good at something. How would
Hmm.
someone do that? Or should they just forget about it, just do your own and move on?
So you're saying if somebody is like feeling the entrepreneurial twinge, but they don't know what to do with
But they
that.
don't know what to do. Yeah, and so they
Uh-huh.
can't. To me, if I was in that position, I cannot go and think, oh, I want my business like this is the type of person. So let me answer like my business. Like, what if you don't? If you're not sure, right? What if you're
Right.
scatter, or maybe you're just not clear? What do you think, or
Right.
what do you say to that type of person?
There's a lot that goes into choosing which business you throw yourself into. I mean, that's a really, really big decision. I think that uncovering what your personal archetype, your personal brand archetype would be, could probably be a big contributing factor to help somebody get clarity on it. For example, if you take the assessment and you come up with, let's say the magician archetype, which is all about taking one thing and like transforming it into something else, like taking something mundane and transforming it into something amazing. Like maybe say like Pixar. They take a simple story and they transform it into something absolutely incredible. Or Home and Garden Television, they take something old and it's transformed into something new. So if that's your personal archetype and that's something you're passionate about, then maybe that could give you guidance. Hey, I'm looking for a business where I could take something boring or something mundane or ugly and transform it into something that's really incredible. That could give you some guidance, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you because when I took the quiz, it
Hmm.
confirmed and it verified and confirmed a lot of the things that I've been doing in the sales consultancy world. And so it just it was a confirmation, but it also gave me the ability to understand who it is and how it is that I'm going to approach and who it is that I'm going to talk to in regards to my
Yeah.
message and my brand. So yeah, definitely if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, so maybe you don't like the business that you have, maybe you're just thinking you have so many things to do, you're trying to choose, definitely you got to go and take that quiz because that will definitely get you closer and clearer into what you want to do. And like you at the beginning, Brian, I mean, I can see the passion in you between what you're doing with this brand identity that you've developed, that you created, the quiz, in
Hmm.
understanding the archetypes, and also the passion behind your ice cream shop. That's like it's so cool, and
Yeah.
it's a wonderful experience to be able like to love what you do, and yes, the cherry on top is that you get paid for it, right?
Yeah. I feel like, Eddie, this is why I was so excited to launch Master Brand Studio, because I see how wonderful it is when your small business is positioned in a way that really resonates with customers, and you know why. It's not just you happen to get a golden ticket or something. And so that's why we're really excited to partner with small business owners so that we can help them do that same thing. Can I tell you
Yeah.
one more quick story?
Yeah, please.
So I have a friend who is an accountant, and years ago he started this accounting firm, and he just did it from the ground up with a sort of a normal approach, getting lots of clients, personal clients, and business clients, doing tax returns, all that stuff. And he got some employees. He bought a building. It turned into something that was actually a huge headache for him, and it was his business, but it didn't resonate with him as a person, especially as he grew and his family started to grow and stuff, because he was one that would love to like go explore new places. He traveled to all these exotic countries and go hiking, and he would, he's all about like very visionary, and he was also excited about trailblazing and trying new approaches and stuff. And for somebody in the in like a traditional financial accounting firm, you don't trailblaze. Like you add up the numbers and you make sure that they are right, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't resonating, and he decided he was going to branch off on his own and start
Mm.
something new himself. And it was
Mm.
just a solo practice, just him. And so so he called me and he's like, "Hey, I need your help with this. It's this idea I have. I don't really know how to get started." And so I said, "Perfect. Here's the link. Take this quiz." And he was actually one of the first people to take it once it was up online. So he took the quiz and he came out very strong as the explorer archetype. And the explorer
Oh,
archetype is all about trying new things, trailblazing, like
true.
this visionary
Wow.
that's like, what's possible, let's
Wow.
journey together. And also the way that the explorer would help someone is to be their guide, is to help them avoid the pitfalls. It's like, let's explore new territory together, but I'm going to make sure that you don't stumble and fall as we're exploring, you
Wow.
see? And so when we got that, it was like everything started clicking. So when we started doing his logo, when we started building his website together, his social media presence, when we were embracing this explorer type personality, even the way he communicated on those posts, it was like magic, because
Wow.
suddenly he was able to take his financial services but communicate them in a way that he was excited about, and in a way that the people who would resonate with him as a person, I mean, you don't want to work with people that hate you, right?
Sure.
So the people that would like him as a person and like his approach, they were drawn to it because he wasn't just some copy and paste accountant firm that was all about spreadsheets. He actually, there was like
Wow.
this soul to his business. And even
Wow.
though he provided some similar services, the
Yes.
way that it was packaged, it gave his new clients like this gut reaction to
Mm.
trust him as their guide into maybe some new territory that they weren't, they didn't feel prepared for, but they knew they could trust him because he
Wow.
really embraced that explorer thing.
Oh my goodness, Brian, you have taken, that that saying that people will buy from someone who they like, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's the other marketing thing that they say, people that like you and trust you will buy from you, right? So you have to learn how to have people like you first, and then eventually it'll turn to trust. Well, this is the way to do it. Find out who you are, get your brand identity, and start messaging that out into the audience, your industry, because
Mhm.
you'll attract the right people.
Yes.
That's, come on. This is so interesting. So, yeah, definitely anyone and everyone can go to this quiz. It's brandidentityquiz.com,
Mhm.
and just show up there and do that as soon as you can. Watch out, Brian, because you're probably going to get a bunch of entries right now, probably through this week. But it's so cool to do that and learn. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is amazing. Like I said, there's so many golden nuggets that you gave us. I'm gonna go back and take some out of this stuff, because this is great information, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time to share with us your exciting adventure. And now that it's also ice cream time, I should go to your shop and go get some
Let's
ice cream.
do it,
You
yeah.
know me and ice cream, we're just so friends. We're so good together. So any final tips? All right. Anything that you would like someone who is listening right now, who's watching right now, who is excited about taking this quiz, what would you like to tell them?
I'll say, Eddie, we don't um we don't want to leave anybody hanging, even if it's this free quiz you can take online. We really want people to be empowered to start taking steps forward on their own, even if working with us one-on-one and becoming our client isn't in the cards for you. That's totally fine. What we've done with the brand identity quiz is, at the end when you take it, we're actually going to email you what we call an archetype action plan. And in that archetype action plan, it's a specific document that lays out exactly what your archetype is so you can understand it. It shows you many examples of successful companies that are fully embracing that archetype so you can kind of learn from them, do a self study. And then it breaks down with this archetype, what are the characteristics of a logo with this archetype? What colors, what fonts, what brand messaging would resonate with this logo? What should you say with this? I'm sorry, with this logo. I mean, with this archetype. What should you say with this archetype? What should you not say with this archetype? You know, what will confuse people if you speak with this tone of voice instead of this tone of voice? What are social media ideas that you can post that would reinforce your brand archetype? So that's totally free. It's included with the quiz. We'll send that off as soon as you're finished taking it. And if you're curious and you want to learn more, there's also links to look at all of the other brand archetypes.
Cool.
So you can, look at yours, but then go and study the others if you want to get more clarity. The final thought that I'll leave you with is this one simple phrase: if you stay true to your brand archetype, your customers will stay true to you.
Wow. That is powerful.
Yeah.
You know what brought in my mind already was Apple.
Yeah.
They're ridiculously doing that, aren't they? That's why
They,
they keep going and going back.
yeah.
Wow, man, this is amazing. Man. You know what? I wonder if this works on your side. If you go
Mhm.
and do two thumbs up like this, I wonder if it does it on your side.
Oh, no, I don't
Uh,
see it. Is
I
it
guess
yours?
not. Okay, because that's how I feel. I'm like,
Oh, that's
push
cool.
explosion of like just
What's so fun.
amazing stuff that you're giving us. This is so awesome. Brian, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, man. And
You're welcome, buddy.
everybody else, if you want to connect with Brian, also you'll find him on LinkedIn at Brian Roes. You'll find them. I think I found you on LinkedIn, on X, and YouTube. In
Yep.
fact, there is a few videos that I saw about yeah. So go find him. Go find
Yeah.
Brian. And again, thank you so much for your time, Brian, and everybody else. Thank you for watching
Thank
this recording or the replay or being here live. I know. Oh, Gavin made it. Okay. Lauren made it. I would love to know how the original idea to the aircraft brand. Yeah, that's some great questions. I guess tell you what, Gavin, go and talk to Brian. How about that? Just message him. You know, he's that cool. Okay, just send him a message. I'll connect you guys because he's got some cool questions that I didn't see. My bad. All right, everybody, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
And
Thanks for the
till
invitation, Eddie.
hey, no problem. That was great. Till next month. I think gonna have something next month, so we'll see. But thank you all to showing up to the Rethink Sales live stream. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Bye.